Yeah, greetings, my fellow Amazonians, fellow fighters, brothers and sisters of the wonderful revolution. Greetings to you all. Scott Lavoisier, greetings. I know you're in Canada. A couple of friends. Of course, my coming is always impromptu, very pregnant, enriching, and inspiring for the revolution. Today we are here to break a news coming from Sonara. There are two breaking news coming from Ground Zero. The first, the deal has been signed, and the second is Sonara. All right, so I'll be breaking to you the news because I've taken orders from the high above authorities of the office of Benedict Kwa, who happens to be the defense chief of the Ambazonia Defense Forces. I've also taken authority from Ayabacho Lucas, who happens to be the leader of the Ambazonia Revolution. So my fellow Ambazonians, for the last 8 months, we took a path to define the struggle and its path and its way forward. Of course, I believe that all of us are working for the revolution. I believe we all have, despite our differences, the moral integrity of liberating our homeland. And we shall not liberate our homeland if we don't buy the guns, if we don't buy the arms. So I will be breaking to you two big news today. The first would come from Sonara, and the second would come from the deal that has been signed. So far, I want to appreciate a particular leader or some particular leaders, those of the AGC, for taking the milestone towards the liberation of our homeland. Never have I ever seen diplomacy so close to the finish line like that of our revolution. So I would advise and I would strongly tell you guys, we are winning. This is the first time I'm using this statement in a very long time. We are winning. Next week, please, everyone across Europe, pay your flights and go to the European Union headquarters. Next week, from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, everyone, I repeat, everyone, please pay your flight and go to the European Union headquarters. We are presenting at the European Union headquarters. They have officially invited us at the EU headquarters. We will be presenting in one of the buildings, particularly the EU Parliament. Please, we have been officially invited to speak and defend the case of the Ambazonia Defense Forces, of the Ambazonia revolution, of the Ambazonia governing path towards getting our independence. This is the biggest move ever taken in this revolution. I am begging you for the last time, please do show up. Next week, if you are in Europe, pay your flight. If you are in the United States, pay your flight. We shall announce to you the exact time. This is the authentic news coming in from the high authorities of Dr. Cho Ayaba Lucas and the Vice President, Dr. Julius Ni. This is the biggest news ever. Pay your flight. Let us storm the European Union headquarters. An autonomous state in the European Union has officially recognized and stood for us in our plight towards independence. That is the biggest news. I am not a spokesperson of the AGC, but I've been authorized to speak on behalf of the AGC. The second news coming in, please. If you are in the United States or Canada, pay your flight the first week of April. I repeat, the first week of April 2018. Pay your flight and join me in New York. Join us in New York. Join us in DC, Washington, DC. We have been officially invited by the United States State Department or Department of State. We have been officially invited by the United States Department. That is the biggest ever diplomatic move taken in a very long time in the history of Ambazonia in the United States. So the Department of State, as its effort towards meeting only leaders and groups that hold arms and bear arms to defend our women and children on the ground, they have officially invited us. So Dr. Cho Ayaba Lucas, may be there. I've not said will be there because I know spies are out to eliminate and assassinate him. So he may be there, but a delegation from the AGC would be leading that huge movement. It tells you exactly whom the international community recognizes as those that can bring forth our independence. So that is exactly the two good news coming in. There are actually four. I will be breaking them subsequently. And that is, as advising, if you are in Canada or United States, this is the moment. Please start booking your flight. We shall announce to you the exact time on the first week of April. The first week of April, we shall tell you the exact locations. There are two locations, one in New York City and two in Washington, D.C. This has never ever come from any group. This is a collective effort by all the Ambazonians. It is not a victory for the AGC. It is not a victory for the ADF. It is a victory by all of us Ambazonians. We made this possible. Without us, we couldn't have attained this level. So it is a collective victory because it is the Ambazonia governing authority. It is not a governing authority for Ayabacho Lucas or Tapang Ivo. It is the Ambazonia governing authority. So we have made this possible. It is the biggest diplomatic move. It is not a move to bring us or bring other groups down as if they are not working. All other groups are working really hard, but we have simply been recognized and singled out among all other groups to lead this delegation for talks about our independence. This is the biggest move. And believe me or not, at the international level, on the international scene, you are recognized when you have the guns on the ground. If you don't have guns on the ground, no one speaks with you. So this is high level, what we call power politics. This is power politics. This is power politics. The next news I'll be breaking to you, but before I go there, I have seen other bloggers trying to bring down the ADF by saying they have declared a war against the La République du Cameroun and ADF. Please, we are not here, and I will repeat, as the spokesperson of the Ambazonia Defense Forces, I will tell you exactly our stance. Whosoever declares war against the Ambazonia Defense Forces or the AGC is declaring war against his own self. We shall not fight war with any civilian in Ambazonia. We are not bowing to any provocations. We shall not engage in any mistakes. We shall not cow down to any of your mistakes. You are declaring war against yourselves and not against the AGC or ADF. You will not sit on Facebook and declare war to those who have weapons on the ground. It shall not work. We are out to defend all of our women and children. We shall never, ever raise a weapon or even a knife against our own women and children. We shall never, ever fight for any reason against any group on ground zero or whosoever declares war against us. If you want to declare war against us and you are a civilian, let me declare here that you have won. So fight your war yourself. You have won. Our fight is against La République du Cameroun terrorists. If you have a villagetic instinct to divide our people, to make our people look as tribalist, to convince other groups like the Sword of Ambazonia to become the Sword of Meme and even Manu as a tribalistic group, please keep that to yourself. I want to officially declare here that whoever declared war against the ADF and AGC has won the war even before declaring it. You have won. You have the power. You have won. Congratulations. We will not fight you. You have won. Our guns and our bullets donated by the sweat of Ambazonians will be there to fight against La République du Cameroun terrorists only. Only La République du Cameroun terrorists. We shall fight only La République du Cameroun terrorists. Please quote me on this, and I insist, and I'm speaking as the head of communications for the Ambazonia Defense Forces, the largest and the biggest and the most well-armed defense forces on Ambazonia soil, on our territory, fighting terrorism. We shall never, ever for once raise a single gun or even a finger against our own people. Never. Our people have suffered, but we are aware of all provocations. But let me assure you, all of our options are on the table. Under international law, I will tell you this, all of our options are on the table. So please relay this message to that villagetic boy that we shall not fight any war against our own people. Our people are our heritage, are our priority, and we shall protect them, including you who declare the war against us. We shall protect you. We are out to protect you. You are an Ambazonian, and I understand it's a little bit of villagistic instinct that is making you to rant on Facebook. But you are an Ambazonian. You are our priority, and we shall protect you. Although you are a villager, but we shall still protect villagers. So that is exactly the message I have to pass. And I'm going to the last point and the second but one point. There are 4 breaking news. We've gotten reports from Sonara. Let me insist, we've gotten reports from Sonara that Ambazonians in Sonara is our oil refinery. Sonara is Ambazonia's oil refinery. La République du Cameroon has no oil refinery. I'm speaking in English because my message is targeting international partners. I will not speak in pidgin. Sonara is our oil refinery. Our oil that was discovered earlier and started refined, it was refined in 1972. Our oil that has been declared as depleted according to a book written by Michael Ross, fueling the region and fueling the world and failing the region. Our oil is in dire straits. In fact, news coming in from Sonara says, all Ambazonians, I repeat, all Ambazonians who are working in Sonara, our oil refinery on our territory, have been ordered to either leave or endure subjugation by La République du Cameroon citizens. I repeat, news coming in from Sonara says if you are an English-speaking person, you will face subjugation and repeated subjugation. You will face reprisals and oppression from people who are working in Sonara and are La République du Cameroon citizens. I have been ordered to come on this live show today, extempore, impromptu, to announce that Ambazonia Defense Forces will be raiding Sonara. We shall be raiding Sonara diplomatically, and we shall be raiding Sonara to stop the nonsense going on in Sonara. We shall be looking forth to eliminating all those terrorists who have come to infest our oil refinery. We are taking Sonara as our biggest priority of the 21st century and as our biggest priority this year, 2019. Sonara and Mongo Bridge have been declared officially as of this day as our biggest priority. If you are in neighboring La République, you may be facing a situation where you may not get into Ambazonia because the Mongo Bridge is linking terrorism between La République du Cameroon and Ambazonia. It is importing terrorism between La République du Cameroon and Ambazonia. We are out to stop terrorists and all the routes they use. We are sorry. If you are in Ambazonia, remain in Ambazonia. If you are in La République du Cameroon, you may not be able to visit Ambazonia because the Mongo Bridge is top of our priority. We have listened to complaints coming in from the diaspora. We have listened to complaints coming in from those abroad that the Mongo Bridge has been used as a bridge to killing our own citizens on ground zero. We have listened to complaints coming in from ground zero that the oil refined in our territory, in Sonara, in Victoria, has been used to fuel La République du Cameroon terrorism that kills our women and children. If that is the oil that kills our women and children, then we have to stop that oil. It is a bloody oil. It is an oil curse. We shall not live by the banks of the river and keep washing our faces with spittle. It is either we end it by diving into that river, or we don't wash our faces at all, and no one shall wash his faces or his or her face with that spittle. Please, Ambazonians, we have taken Sonara and Mongo Bridge as our top priority. In the days ahead, do not be surprised about what will happen as we engage in defensive measures to protect our territorial integrity, to defend our homeland, and to insist here, the U.S. representative to Africa, Nagitibo, who represents Donald Trump, has officially said today, speaking to the international press, that it is a right of Ambazonians to defend themselves against what he describes as threats coming from the government. I repeat, the U.S. ambassador, the representative of Donald Trump in Africa, has officially said to the Cameroon reporters, Cameroon journalists, that we Ambazonians have a right to arm ourselves against what he describes as threats from the government, that if the threats threaten our own civilians and our existence, we have a right to arm ourselves to the teeth to fight the government that threatens its own citizens and the existence of the citizens. So we have a clear case here. And he went further, as I think you guys have listened to his video and have listened to his audio messages. He went further to insist that no one in the United States will be arrested or will be in any kind of a crime or any kind of an official litigation crime against what is happening back in Ground Zero. He insists that anyone can jump into a crime in the United States, not on issues related to Cameroon or Ambazonia, but if you violate the US laws. So far, we've respected the US laws. We all have clean records in the United States. We have never committed any crime, and we don't endorse terrorism in the United States. We are the ones preaching and being blackmailed as those who advocate for the rule of law, for good governance, democratic accountability, and what we call separation of powers by Montesquieu. We are the ones advocating that Cameroon should be as better as La République du Cameroon's deadly threat, United States of America. We are the ones advocating that Ambazonia must be like the United States of America. We are the ones begging and pressuring the international system to come to our aid, to roll out democracy, the rule of law, good governance, and all of those human rights practices. So please, guys, we have a very, very useful case. No one should threaten you. We have our guns and we shall keep buying the guns. If you have not bought your gun, buy one. We have a legitimate case and no one can take you anywhere. Ignore the useless lawsuits passed out by La République du Cameroon to threaten your own leaders. They cannot do anything to the Tapangs. They cannot do anything to the Ayabas. They cannot do anything to all those leaders who are fighting for a good cause. They cannot. They are kids. In the United States, anyone can sue anyone, but not anyone can win a case. Our case is genuine. We are fighting to protect our women and children. We have our citizenship of Ambazonia. We have declared our country, and we've said we are stamping out any form of terrorism. Please, guys, you guys have a really good case to win. And if you've not armed yourselves, arm yourselves. I want to hereby congratulate Bell for his excellent message yesterday. His message was excellent and was superb. Bell passed on a very good message, which I will reiterate, that he is partnering. His group, the Surge of Ambazonia, would be partnering and have signed a partnership with the Ambazonia Defense Forces. For those who have been struggling yesterday to call Bell's phone, to beg Bell not to sign the partnership with the Ambazonia Defense Forces, they carried their shock. For those pastors of the so-called ASC who thought the people on the ground, their eyes would not be open to all the scams. If the eyes of the people were open to the guy who was raised in South Africa in a dubious fake miracle, what more of those on Ground Zero who are dying because of ignorance? The Bible says our people perish for the lack of knowledge. But the Bible also says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17, the gift of wisdom. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17, my Bible tells me the gifts of wisdom, the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Wisdom is part of it. Wisdom has flown to Ground Zero. Ground Zero is more intelligent and wiser than those abroad. Ground Zero has said no to politics and yes to unity among all defense forces. No one can stop it. Ground Zero has said no to division because divided we stand, divided we fall, and united we stand. They have divided the Ambazonia into counties by counties. They have divided Ambazonia into tribe by tribes. They have divided Ambazonia into meme by meme. They have divided Ambazonia into manu by manu. The people have said the division has brought disunity because divided we fail, united we stand. We cannot be dividing ourselves into county by county when in simple logic it is always said, divided we fall and united we stand. We must be united on Ground Zero. We are united as a self-defense group. We recognize everyone's existence because we practice tolerance and respect. We engage in the practice of Article 20 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, that promotes freedom of assembly and freedom of association. That is why we've recognized Bell's group as the Sword of Ambazonia. We are not assimilating Bell's group into the ADF. No, we are not assimilating General Arke's group into the ADF. No, we are partnering with them under the umbrella of the ADF. We are sharing our weapons equally with them. Just to insist here, 4 groups have officially joined the Ambazonia Defense Forces, and they are the biggest groups fighting on the ground. 1, General Bell, who leads the Sword of Ambazonia. 2, Tiger 1. And 3, General Arke's group in Com. So we are the biggest leading defense forces on the ground. We have printed flyers about our code of conduct. We are currently in a 2-week briefing of all our soldiers to respect the Geneva Conventions. We are simply in a 2-week briefing of all our soldiers to respect human rights on the ground, to respect the Rome Statute, to respect international law, while putting all the options on the table. So we shall fight this war using all other means in what von Clausewitz defines as war, the continuation of politics using all other means. We have all other means we shall use to fight this war and fence off terrorism. We have all other means we shall use to protect and donate and give our boys the local standing to fight against La République du Cameroon terrorists. And I will insist here, we have never ever declared war against our own civilians. We shall never ever do so. Whosoever is that coward, that villagetic coward from Camden village, who thinks he can declare war against his own civilians, you are wasting your time. You are from La République du Cameroon. We still have recent memories of how we lost about 10 generals in 1 month, including General Ivo. No one thinks good of those kinds of events. We still have recent memories of how La République du Cameroon killed our soldiers in Batibo. No one has good memories about those events. We still have horrible memories of how other generals, General Bia, good about those events. We still have horrible memories about how our generals died in the BLM village. No one thought good about those events. Please do not repeat what happened 8 months ago or 6 months ago or last year. Do not repeat them. They are not pleasant memories. We shall fight against anyone who thinks he wants to fight against his own civilians. We shall single you out as that perpetrator, name, shame, and blame you. Please go and blame those perpetrators. The boys on the ground are wiser, and they have decided to join the group that has the largest armories on the ground, arms on the ground. They have decided to join us, and we have welcomed them. Someone was saying a few days ago that we, the Ambazonians, Ambazonia Defense Forces, should be very careful with General Bell and General Divine and all of them. I want to insist here, fellow Ambazonians, we are all Ambazonians. The people on the ground are ignorant. We recognize the fact that they were manipulated by dubious people from Maryland and Belgium. They were manipulated by dubious scammers from Maryland and Belgium. They were manipulated to think that fighting against their own brothers is the way out towards getting independence. We are not blaming any of our soldiers like General Divine on the ground. He is ignorant. He was manipulated by those sitting abroad. We have accepted the prodigal son. We believe in respect and tolerance. We believe that our child failed exams because he had a bad teacher. We have taken upon ourselves to school that child. And believe me or not, the General Divine you hate today will become the best general in Ambazonia, because you have people like the Ayabas and the Tapangs who are very tolerant and who believe that education can transform people's lives. We shall transform all of those generals on ground zero to be as better as what you want. Those generals were manipulated by those on the ground. by those abroad rather, and not those on the ground. Those generals were manipulated by those abroad and not those on the ground. We shall collaborate with General Bell to the best of our knowledge. We shall keep him at a close distance and in our circles to the best of our knowledge, and we shall educate and all of those generals, including General Divine. I understand your concern that we should keep General Divine out of the circle. No, we are respectful and we are tolerant, and we believe that education would wipe out the bad memories, will wipe out all of those intoxications you injected in General Divine's brain. We are in a process of rehabilitation and cleaning the mess you put into the brains of those on ground zero. We shall produce the best of our fighters out of the worst, as you've described them. We believe that we can find love in hopeless places. We believe that we can find the best of our soldiers in places where you would never ever believe. We took General Ivo and transformed him into the best. We took other generals and transformed them into the best. And we shall transform General Divine and all others into the best of the fighters. Believe in us. We are all Ambazonians. Fellow Ambazonians, I want to once more thank you for donating to Ground Zero. Thank you for donating to Pache. So far, the sums of money we've received are enormous, are completely enormous. Thank you for believing that we can give you independence and protect all of our women and children. It is a shame that our women and children are endangered species in Ambazonia. It is a shame that our women and children are consistently being systematically targeted. There is extrajudicial killings and the international community is silent. But we want to insist, you can make that change. We believe that advocacy for change must start with your personal example. If you cannot roll out your personal example towards advocacy for change, you cannot be a member of Ambazonia. If you want change, you must be the one to start it. I must be the one to start it. By you starting it and everyone starting the change, all of us are kickstarting the change process. So we insist, advocacy for change must start with your personal example. Do not listen to those who have engaged in tribalistic tendencies. Divided we fall. No one ever thought we could divide Ambazonia into counties by counties. Keep dividing Ambazonia, and that is how we shall be falling. Right now, it is time to debunk and dump all of those Ambazonia county by counties nonsense and local government by local government nonsense. Debunk it and let us stand as one. The groups on the ground have already stood as one, so there is no more county by county. Of course, those villagers will be crying on Facebook, but they ain't on Facebook. The best they can do on ground zero is to take kitchen knives and chop off the fingers of your women and children who are suffering from the pains of La République du Cameroon terrorists. But we've said enough. Our soldiers have multiplied, have tripled, have geometrically tripled, and we shall kill all of those terrorists that are coming to chop off our women and children's fingers. My fellow Ambazonians, thank you very much. Do have a splendid day. My name is Tapang Ivo. Thank you. I love you all.